Today, we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence. It's beginning to be everywhere we look, and currently, right now, it's emerging to be one of the most transformative technologies of our time. Now, most people only know the major large language models, such as ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, or even Grok. Now, in 2024 alone, over 2,000 AI companies secured funding, and each of those companies are contributing to creating their own proprietary AI. Now, so what does this mean for our future? Well, the way we live and work in our daily lives is going to change, and it's going to change fast. Hi, I'm Sean Cornelia, and this is the Tech Perspective. To truly appreciate the entire scope of AI's potential and for us to gain some perspective on how our future is going to look, we need to go back into history for some context. Now, let's start with the Industrial Revolution. The first Industrial Revolution started in roughly 1760 and it lasted until around 1840. This period introduced mechanized production and was the emergence of the first factories. Then, just 30 years later, we start to see the beginning of the Second Industrial Revolution, which was roughly in 1870. Now, this phase lasted until about 1914, and notably was the rise of the automobile. Now, this period fundamentally changed industrial and social structures within the United States and the world. Then, through the late 1930s and 40s, we started to invent the first computers. The ones that were sizes of entire rooms. Then it wasn't until the 1970s where computers began to be small enough to be considered a personal computer. And in 1977, it was a pivotal year. We began to see modern day computers being released. We had the release of the Apple II, the TRS 80, and the Commodore PET. This is a very important moment because we started to gain access to an extension of our brains. This helped us work faster and innovate faster than ever before. We became more efficient in basic tasks. Then in 1993, the World Wide Web was released into the public domain, and 95 is when it was commercialized. But this ushered in an era of unprecedented connectivity and innovation. This was the dot-com revolution. 1993 was arguably one of the most significant years in history and is now settled into the world we live in today. It's hard to imagine a world without computers or the internet. It's something that we all interact with in our daily lives, and it's embedded into everything that we do. How often do you go anywhere without your phone? The reason why I wanted to highlight the gravity of how our world has changed is because AI is going to have an even more profound impact. We're no longer talking about creating an extension of our brains, but replacing them. Unlike previous technologies that augmented human capabilities, AI is now able to think and act on its own. It has the capacity to perform cognitive tasks independently. So, some current applications of AI that you may have seen include generating text, conducting research, and producing multimedia content, such as video, images, and audio. The next step of AI application that we are currently progressing towards are AI agents. Now, these agents are capable of executing very complex tasks and functions without any direct human oversight. Now, if you don't know what an AI agent is, a simple explanation of it is this. You tell the agent to perform an action for you, such as send an email to all management staff to remind them of our upcoming meeting. Now, the agent uses an LLM like ChatGPT as the brain to decipher what you want it to do. It has tools connected to it, like Gmail, your contacts, and your calendar to perform the action. Now, AI agents are getting more and more advanced now, making sales calls and acting even as personal assistants. It's able to do most of the administrative work that a lot of people hate to do. We now have AI that can actually write code just as good as we can. This is replacing some junior developers, and we're already starting to see companies like Google and Microsoft downsizing teams because of it. We are actually using AI to advance AI. Yes, we are controllably using these LLMs to improve themselves. Now, this prompts a really fundamental question. Where's this going long term, and how should we as a society prepare for it? AI is going to reshape the labor market significantly. And the truth is that in the near future, AI is going to take over many entry level office positions. But it's going to create hundreds of thousands of labor jobs while we build these data centers. Now, these agentic systems are going to improve so fast that the only bottlenecks are going to be GPU production and energy consumption. Some of these large data centers can take up about as much electricity as a small city. Now, the race between the United States and China has further intensified these demands, and globally in general, actually. We're trying to now ask the question of what time do we cross the threshold of the emergence of artificial general intelligence or artificial superintelligence, which are systems that could surpass human cognitive abilities and completely operate fully autonomously. Now, practically replacing us. Now, the definitions aren't really clear on the terms because everyone has slightly different definitions for what's considered for each, but most people just call it the singularity. The consensus is that we will have an AI that will be smarter than us and can think for itself. It will be able to ask the questions to the problems and then go and solve those problems, innovating just like us humans do. Now, right now, we still have to direct the AIs through the use of prompts and point it in the direction that we want it to go. Experts are all over the place with estimating the timeline of when we are going to cross that boundary to the singularity. Some think that we're still 5 to 10 years out, and others think that AI currently has those capabilities, but with the guardrails that we put on these systems, it's limiting them for accessing their full potential. When the singularity happens, though, we will see rapid advancements in medicine, for example, curing virtually any disease, science, where we will discover new physics and create new materials and build structures that are straight out of science fiction. And a topic for another video is about how AI has actually solved all of math. More on that next time. But also keep in mind that at the same time, we're seeing an increase in the production of humanoid robots that are going to be able to do the physical tasks for us. Just look at the Optimus robot that Tesla is currently building. AI could be what solves nuclear fusion and creates unlimited clean energy and quantum computing that gives us unlimited computing power. Pandora's box is really when all of these technologies converge, because then there will be no stopping AI at that point. Now, there are two sides to this outcome. The first one is the one that everyone always thinks about, is the Terminator. Now, that is a real outcome in this scenario. Or the second one is a monumental advancement for humanity, comparable to a transition from a type 1 to a type 0, or sorry, from a type 0 to a type 1 civilization. Now, I'd like to think about the positive outcome, but that won't happen unless we're careful. AI needs to have guardrails on it, and AI safety needs to be a top priority for companies and countries. We have seen AI guided cyber attacks, and if you guys remember Robert from Shark Tank, he owns a cybersecurity company and he has spoken on an attack that he has seen that used Claude code to do it. AI, like anything else, is a tool, and how it is used is determined by the operator and the programmer. Remember in the beginning of the video when we looked into the past to gain some context? Well, if you look at the rate of progression, we have been seeing innovation speeding up. The time between the beginning of the first industrial revolution and the second industrial revolution was about 110 years. Now, the time from the beginning of the second industrial revolution to the first computers being invented, that was about 70 years. Now, first computers to the dawn of the internet, that was about 50 years. Now, dawn of the internet to the very first version of ChatGPT that was ever created was in 2018. That only took 25 years. Innovation is speeding up, and that means that we need to respond faster. AI can be just as deadly as a nuclear bomb, just, without the big boom part. We are vulnerable to it because the world runs on technology, and AI is the supreme technological intelligence. One day it will outsmart us, and in the hands of bad actors, just like anything else, can produce bad results. Now, on the flip side, in the hands of good actors, there's a really beautiful future for us if we do this right. It will be a future that will be unimaginable from today. In the meantime, what can we do to position ourselves in the future so that none of us are left behind? Through this transition period, there's going to be a lot of growing pains in whatever industry you're in. You need to be learning how to prompt AI to increase your value to companies. Communicating with AI is an art form if you want to get out of it exactly what you want. Now, for example, if you're a software engineer, you need to become a software prompt engineer. Master how to prompt AI to do most of the coding for you, and then you just look over it and verify it. Now, if you're in sales, focus on creating your own personal brand and use AI to your advantage to sell for multiple companies. Or if you're at a single company, use it to your advantage to be more efficient to get some of your time back from that administrative work. Whatever industry you're in, think of a way to leverage AI to make yourself more valuable and work more efficiently. Now, trade jobs are going to be the highest in demand positions over the next decade, especially for electricians. Now, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink has estimated us needing over 500,000 new electricians. Yes, 500,000. Now, that's a lot for a workforce that already doesn't have enough as it is. Also, nuclear physicists are going to be high demand because we're probably going to be needing more nuclear energy to provide the electricity for all these data centers. Now, each revolution of society has happened faster than the one before it. The version of ChatGPT that shocked the world, that was released on November 30th in 2022. From then to where we are now, it's only been 3 years. We've made giant leaps, and everyone needs to prepare so that you're not blindsided by what happens in the years to come. This is the most pivotal and transformational time in human history. It's both exciting and it's scary, but if we adapt it and make the right decisions, we have an amazing future ahead of us. Thank you all for watching it, and please subscribe to stay up to date with any videos that I drop. I'm going to do a lot more deep dives and do other topics instead of one that's just more broad, kind of like this one. If you have any ideas for those topics, please drop them down in the comments section below. And if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. And again, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.